I was asked to provide some information or discuss a little bit confidentiality in the workplace. And I heard you talk about her and the importance of it in the nursing field and with HIPAA and how that is very important. For those of you who don't know, I'm a police officer in the city of Fresno, so we deal with confidentiality quite a bit, okay? I'm familiar with HIPAA and so on. But in a society where access to information is big business, confidentiality is the counterbalance to this. And what I want to talk about is confidentiality is necessary, and I'm going to speak from my perspective as a police officer, okay? Because what you're learning here is the core of Stephen's ministry. If you don't have confidentiality, we don't have a ministry. If you blow confidentiality, you blow people's trust and the credibility of the program. So I'm just going to expand this a little bit from that to a professional standpoint, and from mine, where doing my job as an officer, I need witnesses to give me information to solve crimes and to hold suspects accountable. I also need citizens to be able to trust me, that I will do what I say I will do, or not do what I say I won't do. And citizens need to be able, or need me to protect their identity when they ask this, so they feel safe in providing information to me. For without this, we cannot do our jobs effectively. And this happens quite often. Citizens, we go to get statements from witnesses that may witness a crime, but they fear for their safety for retaliation. This is actually pretty common. So many times, we have to find ways to protect their identity while still getting the information so we can hold suspects accountable and protect victims and stop further victimology, additional victims. But without confidentiality, if people don't trust me, if I say, yes, I will keep your information confidential, a person may very well never talk to a police officer again. Okay? And then we lose a very vital asset. But without citizens cooperating with us, we can't do our job very well. That's the reality. So if I were to break confidentiality, they would stop cooperating with us. And if we don't have citizen cooperation, we cannot effectively be law enforcers and the peacemakers that we're supposed to be. Citizens, without their trust, it develops an us versus them mentality of the citizen versus the police versus what it should be, citizens with the police in our community, and keeping things under control. We're supposed to be as a team, not butting heads one against them. If we don't have that trust, it's the butting heads that starts developing. And citizens can suffer threats of property damage, injury, death, or violence from suspects who find out that the citizen cooperated with us and gave us information. So if I violate confidentiality, it can lead potentially to somebody being killed. And that becomes very serious. So confidentiality has some broad ramifications within our society, not just in here, but from a professional standpoint. Other issues with confidentiality is that as police officers, we have access to information and databases for work purposes only. That's what they're supposed to be for, and they are confidential. But I can find out about your driver's license and where you live and your driver's license history, your driving history, your court records, your criminal histories, any citations, arrests, detainments, convictions, your vehicle records, you got any warrants, parole, probation status, any restraining orders on you, any restraining orders against you, any restraining orders you have out with other people, and so on. There's a lot of information I got access to. And you as a citizen have every right to expect that that's going to be confidential, right? And you would hope that we would keep that confidential. Now, if we violate the confidentiality, as I talked about, we lose trust with the citizen. We also violate our departmental policy, state and federal laws. And as a result of that, we can either be sued civilly or prosecuted criminally. So there are legal sanctions if we violate confidentiality in certain ways. So that kind of helps keep things in check with us. But there is an accountability, and that is important. So in conclusion, without confidentiality in my profession, we cannot do our jobs effectively, and we face administrative, criminal, and civil repercussions for violating confidentiality and or confidential databases and or releasing information that is supposed to be confidential and for us only. So confidentiality has some wide-ranging impacts. As those of you, who's here in the medical profession in any way? Nursing, mental health, current or prior? Okay, medical, legal profession, anything like that? Okay, so you understand that access that you have to information, confidentiality is extremely important because it affects your career, right? But you not being confidential can negatively affect your employer as well as other employees and your reputation and so on. So it's very important to maintain confidentiality. So I just kind of bring that into a workplace environment so that you can see how this extends beyond just Stephen's ministry, but also extends into our lives and our professional lives. I'm going to close with something here from the Jesus Calling. I was reading this last night, and we'll close with this. And this really speaks to what we do and what we should be doing as a Stephen's minister as we are providing care to our care receiver. And this is out of the Jesus Calling. Is anybody here familiar with the Jesus Calling? Excellent, excellent devotional. I'd recommend you get it. Very short little devotional, but it's a daily one, scripturally tied in. It's outstanding. In this, it says, learn to listen to me. And this is God speaking, okay, to us. Learn to listen to me even while you are listening to other people. As they open their souls to your scrutiny, you are on holy ground. You're in a privileged position. You need the help of my Spirit to respond appropriately. Ask Him to think through you, live through you, and love through you. These are things we're going to be doing with care receivers. My own being is alive within you in the person of the Holy Spirit. If you respond to others' needs through your own unaided thought processes, you offer them dry crumbs. It's not the alive Spirit. When the Spirit empowers your listening and speaking, my streams of living water flow through you to other people. Be a channel of my love, joy, and peace by listening to me as you listen to others. How this plays in closing, which is many times that I've been with my care receiver, I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to focus on, what I'm supposed to talk about, what I'm supposed to question. The conversation's going okay. And I'll just say, Lord, give me your discernment, speak to me. What am I supposed to focus on? And all of a sudden, suddenly, He starts putting thoughts into my head. Or He'll give me that strong urging. It's something that my care receiver says. It's like, go, focus on that. So I start probing more questions onto that specific area. Sure enough, that's right where they're at, and it's just looking at me. So you are a tool that God uses to show His love, His joy, His peace, His compassion to those that are hurting and in need. And that's what this is all about. Learning to do all that while maintaining confidentiality. But without that, we don't have a program and your credibility is lost. So never forget that. This really is probably the most important segment of all the training you're going to have. This whole program hinges on this. So don't ever forget it. Okay? Any questions? Well, we are done.